Hey now, today I am making some coffee sourdough. This is a recipe that we've made before. It's fantastic. It's a great way to get your coffee and your toast all in the same bite. It was really simple. It's just a brief adjustment to my regular sourdough recipe. So instead of water, I'm simply replacing that with coffee. In this case, I just did some long pull espresso using my favorite espresso beans. You can use any kind of just regular coffee, whatever you like. In this case, it's a 75% hydration, so since I'm making a single loaf, that's 375 mils. And then I'm going with a ½ kilogram here of, this is just white baker's flour. You could also use all-purpose flour if you want to do a blend with some whole wheat. That's totally awesome as well. In this case, I just wanted to do a white bread that doesn't look like it's white because it's going to be filled with coffee. Now, if this is anything like the last ones that I've made, this dough is going to be a little bit stickier than normally is the case, but you just power through. So at this point, we're just going to be mixing this together so that it's all nicely combined and let it go through the autolyse for a few hours. The leaven is currently doing its thing and getting nice and prepared to make the sourdough. So just going to mix this for another minute or so and then cover it up, let it sit on the counter until the leaven is ready. Well, after a couple of hours, you can see this is our autolyzed dough, and I'm going to add, in this case, 125 grams of this leaven, this beautiful puffy well-grown leaven. I'm making more than one sourdough today, so I've got way more of it in here than I actually need for this bread. All right, 67, 118, and oh, so close. Not like that. Yeah, awesome. All right, so I'm going to sit here and get right in, mix all of this in. It's going to take me a couple of minutes just to make sure that it is fully incorporated. And once it is all incorporated, we will take a look and see what it's like. So here we are, after a couple of minutes. You can see that leaven is totally mixed and incorporated into the dough. That's awesome. You can see it is a little bit sticky here. No big deal. I'll just pick that off and I'll cover it up. I'm going to give it 30 minutes like this and then we will add the salt. So after half an hour, it is time to uncover this and we're going to add the salt. So in this case, it's 9 grams of salt, which is 1.8%. Get that in there. I'm going to mix that up again. When I'm doing this, and I should have mentioned this with the first step there, I like to use a little filtered water on my hands. I just find that it helps prevent it from sticking as much as it might otherwise. That being said, I also used filtered water, of course, for my espresso that I used in this coffee. Sourdough, all right. So I'm going to mix this up for about 3 minutes and then I'm going to cover it back up and give it a half hour and then we'll start to play around with it some more. Well, after 30 minutes of hanging out, after the salt's been added, it's time for the first stretch and fold. Now I like to do that on the actual counter here. It just gives me a little bit more space to operate. So I'm just going to spray it down with some filtered water, moisten my hands with some filtered water, tuck it up, get it out onto the counter here. So we're just going to stretch, fold. I like to do 4 of those. Woo, she's a little firm still. That's going to get a little bit looser as we go. All right, nice and simple. Pop it back in there. I'll give it another 30 minutes and we will take another peek. All right, so after 30 minutes, we can kind of see how it's coming along here. A wee bit more jiggly. I think with this one, rather than doing a lamination, I'll do a second stretch and fold. Actually, this time I will just stretch it in here and let that bowl cling, kind of allow me to stretch it just a little bit more. So I will give it 4 of those. And then I'm going to cover it up, let it rest another 30, and then we will see how it's coming along. So after another 30 here, we're ready for a coil fold. So I'm just going to pick her up, tuck it underneath, pick it up, tuck it underneath. There we are, just like that. Yeah, still fairly sticky. All right, okay, another 30, we'll check on it. Okay, so time for second coil fold. So I'll just tuck that, like this, and like this. Starting to get really nice and smooth there. But my guess is we're a ways off from being done here, so we'll check on it in 30. And time for coil fold number 3. Oh, kids are getting ready for Christmas upstairs. There we are, another 30. All right, I think I'm gonna do one more coil fold here. And then I'm going to let this rest until it looks like it's nice and jiggly and full of air and ready for the pre-shaping. Well, I gave it just over an hour after that last coil fold. It's looking kind of nice and jiggly here. This is a good amount of fermentation, in my opinion. I think it should be good. Hopefully it'll turn out a decent loaf. That amount of time will sort of differ for you, perhaps, based on the temperature at which you're letting it ferment, and humidity, all kinds of stuff going on like that. So you have to kind of trust how things look when you make that call. So, all the way out here, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a turn. Of course, I set it right down on my flour, which isn't what I intended to do, but whatever. Just a nice little pre-shaping. And I'm going to set it on top of that flour there. It can hang out. Just going to let it do that for actually maybe about 10 minutes. I won't give it too terribly long, and then we'll do a final shaping. Well, actually I just gave it about 5 minutes with this one. Lately I've been doing shorter and shorter bench rests just because I've been pushing the primary fermentation there for longer. So anyway, I'm just going to take this. We will just get a touch more of a shape. Round it out a little bit more. A little sprinkle of flour on it. And then get it into the bowl. If you want to compare that just to the color, this is my regular sourdough recipe, which is only 75% white flour and 25% whole wheat, and then this one, the coffee sourdough, which is 100% white flour, but you can see it's significantly darker, so that coffee is definitely giving it some color. All right, we're gonna let that rest overnight, covered, and bake it in the morning. Here we are next morning after about 14 hours, cold fermenting in the fridge. I just popped it out onto the parchment here, and I'm just going to score a little simple pattern and get it into the oven, which has preheated to 500 degrees. Get that in there and pop my lid on. There we go. I'll just reduce the temperature down to 450, and then I'm going to give it 25-30 minutes, and then we will take off the lid. Okay, we've had half an hour. Let's take a peek at this. See what's going on there. Oh yeah. Nice. It smells super roasty like coffee in here. That's exciting. And my child is screaming to show how excited we are. Okay, sweet. I'll give it 25-30 minutes at 440, and we'll see what it looks like when she's done. And here we are after 25 minutes at 440. So I'm just going to pop this out, let it sit here and cool down with my other sourdoughs. Well, here we are. We've had a couple of hours to cool down. I want to slice into it, take a peek and get a whiff of it. You're definitely going to be saving this for breakfast tomorrow morning, but here we are. Look at that. Really even nice little crumb there. Beautiful. Smells like espresso. This is going to be perfect just with butter for toast. Also, if you want to throw on something cool like peanut butter or Nutella, if you're one of those wackadoos, you can do that. Either way, super fun breakfast toast here. Yeah, so if you like it, subscribe. You can check out other videos that I have going on there. Until next time, keep Road 11.